Hi, I'm Nate, a fitness and lifestyle coach with over a decade of training experience. I'm a hybrid athlete who runs and lifts, and I've helped over a dozen men and women transform their bodies, build discipline, and completely change their lives. In this video, we have John, a past client of mine who worked with me for 16 weeks. He dropped over 30 pounds and completely shifted his mindset. We will cover his journey, the challenges he overcame, and the breakthroughs that changed his life. Enjoy and follow for more. I just want to say I'm super, super proud of you. And I appreciate you sticking with me, man. I know when we first started, there was a little bit of hesitation, right? And then
Yeah,
I kind of got you dialed back in, you reached back out, and we were able to kind of make something work. And
yeah,
you committed, brother. And that's the biggest thing, not just to the program, but to yourself, right? That
yeah,
you prove to yourself, hey, I can be challenged, I can, have adversity, right? I can have days that suck, but I can still come out on top, right? And that's the biggest thing here.
yeah. No, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And just been looking back on the journey this morning so far. So it's been great.
Just to kind of start things off, John, I would say first question, how has your mindset changed since the beginning of the program up until now?
Yeah, I think for me it's really been the change of, I was so focused on the scale, so focused on the number, and even as I got on the phone, the scale today, and I was like, okay, it didn't change. But also realizing this is a journey and this is maybe the end of this program per se, but it's not just a program, it's that lifestyle change. So I think not just focusing on that, but focusing on the journey throughout it. And I think the other thing that it's been a tough 5 months of between work and travel and life and realizing that life happens and no matter how much work you put into it, your body reacts in certain ways and not just relying on that number is really where I think the biggest mindset change has happened for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the main goal, right, of the program is like to not be too focused, right, on that scale, not to be focused on a number.
Yeah.
But there's other benefits, right, of, besides the physical aspects, your mental health is improving, you're learning that, hey, I can be challenged, I can go travel, I can still kind of eat some of the foods I love and still see progress. As we've been through the program, we've had different goal weights that we've been able to, hit, right? Like first off, it was, hey, I want to get off 10, 20 pounds, get under 220. Then I want to get under, 210. I've never seen that. And then I want to get under 200. Right now,
Yeah.
I want to get into the 190s, right?
Yeah.
So it's all a progression. And this is just the beginning, right? And that's the biggest thing with the program. I want you to have that long-term sustainability, and to understand, you don't have to be in the gym 2 hours a day or 7 days a week or endless cardio, right? But you can still live your life. You can also learn that when those things do come up in the future, because they are, right? You're still
Right.
going to be traveling, work's still going to happen. We still have those stressors in our life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you can still achieve your goals and you can still progress towards a bigger that bigger picture.
Absolutely.
Second question for you. What are you most proud of physically?
I think physically for me, it's really seeing the loss of the weight, but also the change in my body fat and feeling better. I don't think you and I have talked about this along the past 5 months, but like my joints would hurt and things like that. And I know people who have done organic and like changed the way they eat. I'm like, whatever. But I doing it, like I don't wake up with the same pain or the same joint issues, and you just feel the inflammation goes down. You just feel different based on what you're eating. So I think there's that. And then also just realizing like plenty, I'm on a lot of calls for work, and then that realization and seeing the weight loss in my face, seeing abs poke through, like you just see that difference when like the light hits a certain way or something like that, and you're like, okay, there is a change happening, and seeing that along the way has been there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit on both points, right? And I think that's super important. Like physically, like, hey, I've lost weight. I've, got some physical or some sort of, I got some visual changes that I can
Yeah,
see, whether it's in the mirror, looking at your past self or even from other people, but also how you feel, right? And that's a big thing with the program. I want you to never feel deprived, never feel like you have that lack of energy, right? Like
right.
it's just like I was in a zombie phase, anything like that.
Yeah,
That's what those whole foods do, right? And that's a big part of the program as well, right? Just having that holistic kind of view to where it's like, hey, I don't have to cut out carbs, I don't have to cut out fats, sugars, right? I have to
yeah,
starve myself, but I can eat, feel full, right? And it can taste good, right, as well. And I can also eat some of my favorite foods, right? So it's not like I gotta cut out
whether it's like a taco or burgers or pizza, pasta, right? I just need to
Yeah,
find that healthy source. And that's something that's gonna be ongoing, right? Your body's now adjusted to that. So, even after this program, I definitely highly recommend still sticking to those whole foods. Now your body's fully optimized to continue building muscle and continue dropping that body fat.
absolutely.
Number three, what habits have you built that you see yourself keeping for life?
I think a couple that stood out to me was really consistency. I think you really hit home with me that as a big thing that I was on edge of like, do I do the program or not? Of hey, it's hard to find that balance in life of like, how strict do I need to be versus I also have vacations coming up, and do I go out with friends on the weekend? Like, and you just reiterated it's the consistency. It's not 100% every single day, but how do you make sure that you get back on track or you have this one meal and still make good choices during that, but keep it consistent as much as you can. And that really helped and for me. And then I think, especially in the beginning, just being open to ask for help, knowing that you can't do it on your own, all the time. And just asking for advice and saying like, hey, like, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Or, um, really just making sure that you're asking for help when you need it and that consistency because you, it's also just making sure you don't keep that end goal in sight, but just celebrating those wins along the way. Because I know there were plenty of times on the call, I'm like, but I need to get to this weight or I need to focus on this and not looking at the win that was in front of me for that week. So making sure celebrating those wins along the way
Yeah,
was really
no, and those are all great, right? So, first off, consistency over perfection. That's one big thing, man. It's impossible to be perfect. Even myself, I've tried for years. It's impossible. So that's why we always shot for that 80-20 split, that 90-10 split, because that also does show you, hey, I don't have to be perfect. And it's okay if I mess up. It's okay if I have a chance. It's okay if I face that adversity.
yeah,
Because I'm not shooting for perfection. I'm just shooting for that 90-10, 80-20 split, and that also bleeds over into every other area of your life, right? It's not just about fitness, right? It's about everything else as well. And as you're kind of just progressing through your life, whether it's your professional career, your relationships, whatever the case may be, being that consistent person is going to be, what brings you to that next level. So love that one, and asking for help when you need it. That's a huge thing, right? And especially, as a coach, that's something that I need on my side. So you were definitely very, very open with that, making sure that you always let me know if you were confused or if you should be doing, A or B, or hey, what are your thoughts going forward, things like that. And
yeah,
that's in life as well, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. I actually just posted something about that the yesterday, and basically that's what that means. Like, no
yeah,
one can know if you're struggling if you don't say anything. No one can know if you're starving if you don't mention it, right? Like, you have
absolutely,
to be open with that, and it's okay, right? It doesn't mean that you're lesser of a man or lesser of an individual or anything like that.
yeah,
I ask for help all the time, right? And it's whether it's in my business, I still ask for help at the gym, like. I don't know everything. I asked for a lot of help with running. I got one running coach who's probably tired of me hitting him up because he's a beast. I mean, he does. I mean, he is like 6 minute miles for the marathon. He's my age. He just started running like 2 years ago, and he works with some of the brands that I work with as well. So we're super close. But I'm
yeah.
always asking him like little like questions that he'd be like, "Man, I thought you already knew this," but I'm like, "Yo, look, I just wanted to
Just
confirm."
confirming, I'm just
He,
confirming.
he's like, you already ran your half. You run every day, brother. What do you mean? How do I run? And I'm like, bro, I'm just asking. I just want to know. So
Absolutely.
that's super important. And one of the biggest ones I think you mentioned is celebrating the small wins, right? Those are those little milestones, right? That are going to keep us motivated, keep you going. Because of course, right, we always have that end goal in mind. But one analogy I always say, right, if you're walking up a staircase, right, you're on step one and maybe there's 40
Mhm.
steps, we're not blindly staring at step 40, just going up, right? We're
Hope
looking
to get
at
there.
step two, we get to step two, we go to step three, maybe we jump a step and then we hit step five, right?
Yeah.
So that's important. That's what keeps us grounded. That's what keeps us going. It also allows us to readjust, right? And even if you do go back a step, right? So maybe you go up two, go back one. It gives you that ability to kind of learn from that and then continue prospering. So I think those are three beautiful things to kind of take away from the program and to use, after the program as well. Was there a specific breakthrough moment where things started to click for you?
For me, I don't know that it was one exact moment. Two things kind of stand out. It's when so I work remotely, but when I went into the office one day, you probably remember this conversation later in the week. I just walked into this person's office who I hadn't seen in probably like 3 weeks, and they're like, "Oh wow, you've dropped the weight." And to me, it didn't look like it, didn't feel like it, and it just started to click. Okay, I might not see this because I see myself every time I look in the mirror, every time I'm on camera, whatnot. Um, but this person who hasn't seen me in 3 weeks saw it and acknowledged it. So I think that really made me realize, okay, it's working. And then I think through the mental piece of it, every struggle I have, what I'm gonna quote you wrong, so I know you'll correct it, but like I've already overcome every. I think you know where I'm going. I've overcome 100% of my bad days. Um,
Yeah.
and when you put it that way,
Yeah.
I there's no way to argue with it. I have. So if I've done it before, I can do it again. Because I
Yeah.
remember the first time you said it, I'm like, I tried to come back with something. I'm like, there's just nothing like it's the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
No, no, absolutely. And in terms of that recognition, right, from others, that's huge, right? Because you're looking at yourself every day, right? You're kind of analyzing and, reflecting on yourself every day, whether it's like, hey, I've been doing good, hey, I'm doing bad. Sometimes that can lead to you maybe not really
Yeah.
understanding the results that you're seeing, whether it's physically or mentally.
Yeah.
So getting that recognition from others is always amazing. It's going to continue happening, right? Because there are going to be people that you start seeing that maybe you haven't seen in a few weeks, few months. It's going to be a little crazy, right?
Yeah.
And that's beautiful, right? That just kind of, is a testament to your hard work and your commitment. And the quote is, right, you've made it through 100% of your worst days. That's something I want you to remember. That's something I keep on my mind each and every day, man, because every day isn't the best day. It's not the most flourishing day, whether mentally or physically, or if it's even how it performed, right? Like if it's, running at the gym or whatever the case may be. But we've already made it through it, right? Every time I say this is my worst day, man, this day sucks, thankfully and God willingly, I wake up that next day and I've made it through, right? I've figured out, how to work through that bad day or work through that adversity or whatever that challenge may have been. So I love that that resonated with you. That's one of my biggest things, man. And I tell people that, and the way you responded is how a lot of people respond. They're like, oh wait, he is kind of right. Like I have made it through 100. So statistically speaking,
Yeah.
you're supposed to keep making it. You know what I mean? If we
Yeah.
shooting 5 for 5 from the field, I'm gonna throw up that sixth shot, hoping
Exactly.
they go in, right? Expecting it to go in. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something super important. I definitely never want you to forget that. Because you're great, brother. Look, I mean, life sucks sometimes, and there's things that we go through, but we have to make it through those, right? Whether it's a learning experience or something that we needed to do just to become a better individual. So that's definitely amazing. So second to last question, did you accomplish your goals that you had set from the start?
I would say most of them, yes. Did the number end where I wanted it to end? Not yet. However, I think as I've been thinking about it, the more important thing to me is like I actually accomplished goals I didn't even know that I had at the beginning of the program. So you always start the program when we first started talking, like, what's that goal? But then as we've gone through the past 5 months, like that's changed so much. So I think it's being proud of those and those results. So ultimately, yes, I hit the goals, and I'm not done yet. I think the other thing that I don't know that I've shared with you that has hit me throughout the past 5 months is for me, it's always, and for a lot of people, it's just like, okay, I want to look better. I want to feel better. I want to change that. But I think I shared like 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with kidney issues. And ultimately at some point I'll either need dialysis or a transplant or things like that down the road. But like my doctor continues to say like, hey, you need to drop weight, you need to make sure you're eating better and things like that. So for me, reflecting on this journey, it's not just like helping me get in better shape, but is literally changing my life down the road and pushing off when I need those medical interventions because I'm taking care of myself now. And putting it in that sense has meant more to me from a life perspective than having a six pack, having the chiseled body or the number on the scale. thinking about that and how it improves my life down the road is has been even more important to me.
And those are all great, right? Of course, right, in a perfect world, I would love to hit 100% of the goals, but
Yeah,
that's okay, right? This is just the beginning.
yeah,
And I know you mentioned, there were some goals you hit you probably didn't know were a goal, and that's
yeah,
the whole point of the program, right? And that's my biggest thing, to kind of teach, some of that higher quality living of life,
yeah,
that you may not even realize that, hey, I was slacking here, and now I'm improved here, right? So I love that aspect, right? And then the medical side of things, I mean, for sure, right? That's just I didn't know that, right? But I do love that you we're making that step in the right direction, right? You've lost 30 pounds, you're starting eating healthier, like it's only going to get better. I mean, and who knows down the road it could be, hey, we don't need to do these things anymore.
right,
And that's one thing we got to be cautious of, and that that's why I do make the program as holistic as possible, to where it's not like a crash diet or you're cutting out carbs, cutting out fats, or like eating
yeah,
500 calories a day. Because my goal is overall quality of life, right? And it's long term. So I want everything that we're doing here, over that span of 4 to 5 months to reflect, hey, that I can continue this for another 6 months, another year, another 2 years, right? So this is just the beginning, and it's only going to get more exponential, right? And as maybe you go to the doctor and he's like, hey, look, now that you've done this, now you've done X, like the projections now pushed out even
yeah,
further. That's just going to be motivation. You're like, okay, well, this is what 5 months does. Imagine if I stay consistent for a year, or if I stay consistent for 2 years, right?
yeah,
Can lead to that point to where you maybe not have those complications anymore,
yeah,
which is great, and that's definitely something that I'm hoping and praying for. Have no
yeah,
doubt in my mind, right? I've seen it happen. My last kind of question for you is, what would you say to someone on the fence about joining the program?
yeah. For me, I think I shared like years ago, I was actually a certified personal trainer. Like in my head, in a lot of people's heads, I think they can do it on their own, or like, hey, I know what I can do. I know I need to do this, or I can crash diet and I can get where I want. For me, this has been different, and there was that hesitation at the beginning. I'm like, okay, like here's someone, do they just want the money and like then give me a basic blueprint? Um, but it's just different. And what I would say is I think the biggest thing is it's not that crash diet. It's something that is sustainable. Never once did I feel like I couldn't eat something that I wanted to. You helped change it in a better way that it was healthier for me to eat. You made it work. It wasn't, hey, like you need to just eat veggies all the time and do this like that. So that's different. And then I also think the biggest part is you will always have family, friends, you'll have people that support you and may tell you what you want to hear day in and day out. And I think having somebody that you don't know, and I can honestly say, like, I don't get the sense that you're in this for the money at all. You truly have always, for the past 5 months, made it about helping me reach my goals and my journey. And no matter what, whether it was the leg injury that I had, like you were there to text and talk and work through it. And never once did you leave me hanging and like not know what direction to go. So that's what I would say is like this is different. And as someone that was hesitating, I know we talked for a few months before I actually pulled the trigger. I'm glad that I did it. And I think if you're on the fence about it, you have to be ready as well. Because at the end of the day, you can tell me to do all the things, but as soon as this call ends, I can go and binge on what's ever in my fridge and not tell you about it. So you have to be ready at the same time to make the commitment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, brother, I do want to say thank you for that recommendation, man, and for the kind words. That is my goal, right? To just teach, right? In no way do I want to even just throw something in your face. Hey, just follow this blindly. But I
Yeah,
want you to understand the foods you're intaking, understanding it's about the sources, of those carbs, fats, proteins, etc. And that it doesn't have to be crazy strict, right? You can still, maybe have a cheat meal. You can still, eat your sweets or desserts or whatever the case may be, but you can still hit your goals, right? So I love that aspect of it. And then having somebody in your corner, that's my biggest goal, right? It can be challenging. It is going to be challenging.
Yeah.
I've been in that spot as well where I didn't have, somebody to bounce those questions off of, or somebody who has been through what I've been through, or somebody to just help me, right? Be there
Yeah.
for me when I'm down on myself. So
Yeah.
I love that I've been able to be there for you. It's never about the money, right? For me, it's genuinely about I want to see that best version because I've been that unhappy person. I've been that person that didn't like who we saw in the mirror. I've been that person with no confidence, a lower self-esteem.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I'm able to overcome that and become who I am today, which I think is a lot better than who I was
Yeah.
before. But that's my goal for any of my clients, right? I know you're at point A. And I know it can be challenging, and that's where, maybe that little bit of that hesitation came in, which
Yeah.
is totally fine. But I think you were testing me. You were like, hey, does he really care? Is he gonna be, persistent? And I was because I believed in you, John, and you
Yeah.
believe in yourself, right? You just needed somebody to kind of get it out of you to tell you, hey, I know you believe in yourself. So as you said, it's a journey. It's not gonna be easy. You do need to be ready. But you also have to have someone who's ready to help you, to get to that point. So I definitely appreciate the kind words, brother. The journey itself has been amazing. Like I said, man, proud is an understatement. I mean, mentally, physically, just overall, brother, I've seen a whole new John come out. I mean, even the way that you even post on like an Instagram, like that wasn't John before. It wasn't that uplifting, but now you're understanding it, right? You're understanding that life happens and you can still, achieve your goals. You can still become that better person. And you're embodying everything in the program that I want for anybody, right? So I just appreciate you to committing to the program, but more importantly, committing to yourself, right? And really trusting yourself and pushing yourself. Because I know there was days that was hard, right? Whether you're looking at the scale, looking at the mirror,
Yeah.
like especially in the beginning, right? And believing in the process. And you did all of those things, and I was just blessed to work alongside of you.
I really appreciate it. You got me to trust the process when things weren't changing. You're like, it's gonna come, it's gonna come, and then it started. And I just really appreciate that. And again, I can't say it enough. It's not just about there's more goals for me to hit. It is truly about I'm looking forward to my November doctor appointment to see the results. I take my blood pressure every day because of the kidneys, and it's stayed flat. It's been in good range every single day throughout this journey.
I love that.
And I think it's because of the foods I'm eating and the different changes I'm making, and truly feel like this is sustainable. And it will take effort for me to go backwards. So if I put that same effort into continuing to move forward, I'm just excited about what will come even more in the future.